Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, where it is time for another match preview as the Reds go back to London this week to a West Ham side who are sitting, if you believe it, fourth in the Premier League table. I mean, I've got a lovely happy hammer with me to preview this game. It is Dan Cullender. How you doing, Dan?
Well, very well, mate. Very, very well.
And you must be a happy hammer right now.
Oh, honestly, can't get my head around it. I was just saying to you before we decided to start recording that you came on my prediction show, didn't you, on Know the Score?
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote us off. I said we were going to get relegated. I said I had no trust in David Moyes, and now 20 games gone, fourth. Yeah, it's mad. I genuinely, I don't know. I don't think any West Ham fan could sit there and explain it, because I think I would say probably 90% of the West Ham fans were in my side, my side, like completely writing the team off, because the board didn't really do a lot, did they? In the summer window, but the bits they did do have come up trumps. Like, they've been amazing signings. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one, mate. I'm very happy, but yeah, I'd like to be able to explain it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to apologise to every Hammer fan. I had you 17th this season.
Yep.
And I think at the start of the season, you would have probably took that.
Yeah, I would have. I would have happily. I would have cut your hand off, mate, if you had said to me, 17th, we remain in the Premier League. I genuinely would. I would have snapped your hand off. But yeah, the fact that we're sitting where we are, like the magic 40 points in it is basically what most teams sort of are aiming for, and we are not far away from it. So, I'm happy. At the end of the day, I think, every West Ham fan can at least sit there now and go, right, we're here next year. You just hope that we don't mess it up for the remainder of the season, and we carry on doing, going the way we are. We ain't got the easiest run coming up. Obviously starts with Liverpool. But yeah, like, if we can get over it and we can pick up a few points here and there, then we could be dreaming of Europe, mate.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely amazing. And January has been a very good month for you guys. 6 straight wins in a calendar year for the first time ever, you were saying. I mean, what has changed? What has changed in West Ham? Like obviously, I know from like the start of the season. I remember being on your prediction show. You were writing, West Ham off. You were saying that I would probably take 17th, 16th. What sort of changed to be fourth? Do you think?
I think it has to go down to Moyes, mate. And again, Moyes. I wrote Moyes off, and I think a lot of us were looking at Moyes' track record after his time, at Everton. Then he went United. It didn't work out, and then from there he was seen as a bit of a relegator. Never really settled anywhere, and so we were a bit worried. Obviously, he came in that first time and he kept us up. And I do think it was probably unfair to get rid of him when he came in and he kept us in the league. He obviously went. Manager came in, got the sack. They brought Moyes back. It was, less than spectacular when he came in. It didn't need Talender last season, but he kept us up. He did what was, what he was paid to do. The fact that he's then gone from there to producing what he's doing now is incredible. I think a lot of credit has to go to him. I think a lot of credit has to go to the backroom staff. He obviously brought in all his own team. We've got Stuart Pearce and Kevin Nolan, Alan Irvine. We've got really good backroom staff now. He's trying to transform the club behind the scenes as well, with the coaching setup and the attitude of the team. He's got, it's almost as like he's got his way of doing things, and the team have all fed into it. There's been many a year, mate, where, like, as a West Ham fan, we've sat there and we've lacked identity. We never really knew what our style was on the pitch. We didn't really know what tactics we were going to play. We didn't know who was going to start from week to week. There was no identity. Whereas now you look at us and, you listen to any of the pundits, the first thing they always say is they're hard to beat. And that is the one thing he needed to do. Is we used to leak goals for fun, but now we are very, very hard to beat. We don't lose many games anymore, which is incredible to be able to sit here and say that. But I think the credit has to go to Moyes, mate. I think he's just changed the whole feel of the club, and that's it's paying dividends now.
I know, and you've lost Sebastian Haller this January as well. How was the mood when you did lose Haller to Ajax? Was that a bit of a surprise?
I think it was split. I think the West Ham fan base was split. There's clearly a good player in there. I will say that now. I'm not going to be one of these West Ham fans that's going to sit there and tear the player apart, because I try not to do that unless they are awful. I do think there's a good player in there. I just don't think he fit the system Moyes wanted to play. And Moyes had clearly made himself heard that he didn't want the player. And so why let an unhappy player be there if you can make 20 million quid? We were never going to make back the 40 odd million or whatever we spent on him. We were never going to. We probably overpaid. We bought him at a time when he was in the goals. The interesting thing with Haller that, everyone remembers his last season at Frankfurt where he was on fire. But the season before, I don't even think he reached double digits for goals. So he is one of those strikers that's kind of flips in and out. So, you make 20 million quid. You just hope the money's going to be reinvested. You know my feelings on the ball, Doug. They are snidey. They do like to pocket the money and they don't really like to reinvest. But it's just left us short. I just hope that before the window's out, we at least get one in on loan. A striker in on loan just for cover because, Antonio's hamstrings are made out of strawberry laces, aren't they? They snap at any time. So, it's a bit of a worry that he could go down injured. But yeah, as long as we get a striker in on loan, mate, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, and another player that you've lost, someone who's very, very close to my heart, Robert Snodgrass. He must have been a character in the changing room. So that was a bit of a loss as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a big loss, mate. I don't think enough is said for the feeling, behind closed doors. Football's more than just a 11v11 on a football pitch. They train with each other every day. There's got to be good camaraderie, isn't there, in the squad? And I think, Snodgrass is probably one that's going to be really, really missed. And once he gets up to speed, he'll definitely be an addition for Big Sam's teams, especially the way Sam Allardyce plays football. If Snodgrass gets the chance to get plenty of balls in the box and that, he'll do a job for them. But yeah, he's going to be a miss. Losing them two players and not really bringing anyone in is a little bit of a concern considering the window's about to close. We're being linked with everybody, as I said to you just before we came on. Even more names we're being linked with today, but it's just it's how genuine the links are. Is it just for clicks or are we actually linked with the players?
I know it is a very, very strange time, the January transfer window. But you have signed someone permanently this month, Ben Rama. Yeah. You happy with that?
Yeah, really happy, mate. Yeah, I think they've made that permanent because they want to get another domestic player in on loan. I think it's Lingard. They want to bring him in, don't they, on loan? So I think it's something I was reading today. It's 20 million and then about 6 million in add-ons. Which some people might think is a lot of money, but, he was standout in the Championship last year. And he's getting better. The more I watch him, he just needs to sharpen up his decision-making a bit. And then I think he's got up to speed. He's got a fantastic touch. I've never seen a player with, such good close control. Like, he is very, very good. He was brilliant against Palace the other night. But yeah, I think it's money well spent. I'm glad they've made it permanent because I think he's a good addition.
I know, and looking at some of your players this season, and I'm going to have to bring out two who I think have been absolutely fantastic, is Soufal, the right back, but the guy on the screen, as you can see, Thomas Soucek. I mean, those two players have really improved your club. How impressed have you been with those two?
Oh, because they were complete unknowns to me, Doug. You know me. I've got pretty good knowledge of football. I watch football from all over the world, mate. But they were complete unknowns to me. Didn't know too much about them. Soucek obviously came in on loan, didn't he, last year? I think in the January window, and he was really good and obviously good enough for them to spend I think they only spent 13-14 million quid on him, which looks like a bargain at the minute. Because I was reading yesterday that only Bruno Fernandes has got as many goals from midfield as him since the turn of last year or something like that. Yeah, like he's one of the best goal-scoring midfielders. And so, yeah, it's like next to no money. But Soufal, the right-back's becoming my favourite player. He's just so good. He's so good. 5 million quid. So that's, how many players can you say in today's football are that good and you pick them up for that little money?
Not many.
You're looking combined there, £20 million for two players that have completely changed the way that, we do things. So yeah, I've been really impressed. I think the most impressive thing with Soucek though is that he's freed Rice up a bit. I think Rice is a better footballer than a lot of people give him credit, like especially going forward. And I think he's given Rice a bit more free rein now to break the halfway line and try to get involved with the sort of final third. So yeah, it's just good, mate. Just very, very impressed with both them. Both David Moyes signings as well. So
yeah,
a lot has to be said.
Absolutely, and Soucek got me 15 points for my fantasy, so I was very, very happy, very, very happy about that. But But no, and then obviously, you look for the team, Antonio, as you say, his ankles are like strawberry laces, but he's going to be another danger man at the weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, I think especially with the way your defence is at the minute, mate. Obviously, you've got issues at Liverpool, lots of injuries all season long. Unfortunately, injuries are one of those things. I know you're not one of those Liverpool fans or a fan in football in general that makes excuses for your team. You never have been, and it's one of the things I like about you. Every team gets injuries, and we can't feel sorry for Liverpool just because they got a few injuries. You still got to make the most of the bad situations. Still, you can only beat the team that's in front of you, can't you? So I do think Antonio will have a field day at the weekend if he can bully him. I still rate Fabinho at centre back, mate. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a better midfielder than he is a centre back, but I still think he's brilliant back there. But if you play the youngster again, like you did in the FA Cup, I think he'll get bullied a little bit because Antonio, in my opinion, he can run at the defender a bit like Rashford did. Maybe not to that level, but he can still run the defender and get him behind. But he's got the strength, and he'll bully him. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup the weekend. Usually, I go into these games, completely no optimism. Liverpool will win easy, but because of the way the league is at the minute and the way the teams are playing, anything's possible, isn't it?
I know, and I won't tell about the last 5 meetings because I know
they're pretty bad.
They are pretty bad. But no, I mean, obviously about Liverpool. What have you made of Liverpool this season so far?
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's like a good Western, mate. It really has been because let's be honest, there've been times when you've looked at Liverpool and you've gone, Jesus. Was it the Crystal Palace game? Was it 7-0?
Yeah, Crystal Palace.
And I looked at that and I thought, that's Liverpool. That's the Liverpool of old. I'm going to be one of them fans. I'm going to say you've been unlucky with injuries. You have been so unlucky. You lose, any team loses, Van Dijk. They're going to struggle at the back, anyone that loses him. But not only did you lose him, at times you've lost your Matips and, you've lost Rubino, and then you're having to play Henderson at centre-back. And it's, you bring in Thiago and everyone expects him to light the league up from the beginning. It's going to take him time, but he's had injuries as well. You have been unlucky. In my opinion, I just think you've been unlucky with injuries. And the only thing I've not enjoyed is that Klopp is coming off as a bit of a sore loser. He's making a lot of excuses at the minute, and he never used to be like. I'm a big fan of Klopp's. I do think arguably he's probably the best coach in the league. I think him and Guardiola are head and head. I do think they're the best coaches in the league, but he's just making a lot of excuses at the minute. Like I've said, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but injuries happen, and you just have to get over it and carry on. Do you know what I mean? But I still think you'll be there or thereabouts at the end of the year, mate. The season's so up and down. Like City started the season awful, and now they're sitting top. With a game in hand over United. So anything's possible, mate. It really, really is.
It's a very strange season. It's a very strange season. But I mean, let's go back to obviously the game in October, and I think from obviously speaking to you and speaking to Luke, you were both really annoyed at that result, the 2-1 defeat, because in that game you probably should have took something out of that game.
Yeah, I do think we should have, and I still think there's question marks over that penalty. I can't help it. I think it's one of those. It's 50-50. Masuaku does, he does catch him and whatever, but that's the side of Mo Salah I've got to say I detest, because I think he's a great player, but he's so theatrical. And he'll do anything to win a penalty in the box, even if it means, diving a little bit. But yeah, I think a draw would have been a fair result in that game, in my opinion. But if we play like that again at the weekend, then I think we'll take something. Because I can't grumble at that performance. I thought we were good. There's been a few performances like that this year. We lost to Arsenal. I think we lost to Arsenal at home, and I think we probably should have won that game. And there's been a few of them where, it's that in hindsight, if we'd have done things differently, we would have taken a point or whatever. But yeah, I can't grumble, mate, because we played well. But, if we do the same again, like I say, at the weekend, I think, we could be looking at all three or, a point, which would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, how is your home form recently? I mean, I've been, looking at your away form. You seem very, very good. I mean, you beat Everton. I mean, that was a big, big surprise, and beating Everton, and Soucek got the winner that day as well. Soucek seems to be coming up with a lot of late goals, which I like to see. So how have you made of your home form this season so far?
Yeah, it's been, it's a weird one because where there's no fans, you can't really do the whole, the team looks better at home than it does away because you set up. But weirdly, we are set up to be better on the road because we don't like to dominate possession. Look at a few of the games this season, we've had as little as 30% possession, but we still won the game. We're not one of those teams who we're not going to control it and take it to the team. But we're very good on the counter-attack. And I think that's what it is. And on the road, that suits you because you're expected to soak up more on the road because you're in someone else's house at the end of the day. So if you can soak up that pressure and it teams on the counter-attack, then, you'll win football games. And we've done that this season. We've done it a few times.
Yeah.
And it just seems to suit us a lot better. Obviously, at Palace at the weekend, we dominated that game. 3-2 is actually... not the weekend, the other day, sorry. But if 3-2, I actually think the scoreline makes it look like it was a closer game than it was. But other than the first 5 minutes and the last, 10 seconds, we dominated that game. And it was pretty faultless performance. So, but I don't expect us to do that against Liverpool. I think it will very much be 2 banks of 4, and then a cam and a striker and just hope to nick the ball and counter-attack. That's, I think it suits us more. But the home form's not been terrible. I think we've only lost 5 games all season, haven't we? Something like that.
Yeah, 10 wins, 5 draws and 5 defeats. It's very, very good. And I like seeing Hammers happy because you should actually be a club that is obviously, fighting for, European places, etc. But yeah, I mean, I've been very, very impressed with West Ham this season, and especially Soucek, Soufal, who, as you say, is your favourite player. So, bearing that in mind, what is your starting 11 for West Ham against Liverpool on Sunday?
Probably the 11 that started at Palace. So yeah, you Fab in goal. It'll be Soufal right back, Cresswell left back, and then we'll probably play Dawson and Ogbonna. Dawson, I have to give a shout to Dawson. Fantastic. He came in and all of us were giving it, oh my God, what have we done here? And 3 clean sheets in 5 games. It's pretty mad. Yeah, he's been brilliant. And then, it'll be Rice, Soucek. And then he'll probably go, we never know what order he's going to go with them in, but Benrahma, Bowen and Fornells, they seem to change. The 3 of them seem to change during the game. And then, he'll probably go Antonio up top. I don't see him going with anything else. You don't really change a winning team for a start.
No.
I will say, though, if he gets the Jesse Lingard loan done that he wants to get done, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on the bench, though. Because could you imagine him coming on and scoring the winner against Liverpool?
Millie Rock. Don't give me those images in my head. Don't give me those images in my head.
Someone said it to me today. They were like, imagine if we sign Jay Lings and he comes on against Liverpool and grabs the winner. I was like, oh my God, every Liverpool fan, it's like their worst nightmare.
Or every Arsenal fan's nightmare if you say it when he does that to the Emirates. But oh my goodness me. Yeah. Right. Get those images out of your head, Douglas. Get them. I think Liverpool...
I was just going to say, I was just throw it back to you. How do you think Liverpool are going to line up? Like, what are the injuries like for Liverpool at the minute?
Injuries, pretty much the same. I think apart from Keita, Van Dijk, Gomez, I think we're pretty full strength. Jota as well. Jota's been a big miss this season. I've actually been very, very surprised in how good he's actually been. And everyone expected him to, warm the bench, etc. But to his credit, he took his chance, and he's been very, very unlucky to get that injury.
Yeah, even you looked a more potent side with him in rather than Firmino. In my opinion, Firmino is a weird one for me. Obviously he plays as your number 9, and you expect goals from him and whatever. But he's a bit more of a 10, isn't he? He's a bit more of a playmaker. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. That front 3 have not really been what they were last year, have they? They've struggled this season. I think all three of them have struggled to some degree. You know, they've had times where they've struggled. Mane's the one who seems quiet at the minute. Like, he seems the one who's struggling the most out of the three.
Yeah, he's the one I think we've been a bit worried about. I think I don't know if he's got aspirations elsewhere. Salah for me is the one. I mean, if the front three are not firing, then you don't win games. Unfortunately, you might get the odd goal from a Van Alden, from a Henderson. Even though from obviously not this season, but Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, etc. But that's the thing with us this season, is that we've been good in some games, but see the last 4 or 5 games, we just can't score. We just cannot score. And I know the weekend against.
And you see, sorry to cut you off there, mate. You seem to be struggling against the teams in the lower half of the table as well.
Welcome back to 2017-2018 Liverpool. We seem to go back to that.
It just seems a big struggle. Against the teams like your Burnleys and that, you just don't seem to be able to break them down like you did last year. Every time you stepped on the football pitch last season, I was confident you were going to win. That's just how I looked at Liverpool. But I'd look at them this year and I think, it's a beatable football team. You can't just blame 1 or 2 injuries for it. It has to be a mindset. You can't just blame your fact you ain't got your world-class centre-back in there, because your team's still strong. I would happily take Liverpool's team at West Ham. Even a half decent Liverpool team at West Ham. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a bit of a weird one, mate. But it's a weird season with COVID and that, no fans, and I've talked in length with other people that certain players prefer fans in the stadium because their egos need it. That's just the nature of footballers, mate. Some footballers need the noise, and I would go as far as saying it's one of the reasons West Ham are doing well, because we've got one of the worst fan bases for getting on the team's back. If we're not playing well, we will boo the team and we will get on them. And if you ever, not so much now, but if you ever went to the Boleyn and we weren't playing well, you could feel the tension. You could cut it with a knife, mate. And that gets on the pitch and that gets into the players. And I think it's probably why we're playing so well this year, is we don't have the fans giving it, you're crap, you're rubbish, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. They just go out there, don't they? And they could just crack on and play football and do their thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Liverpool will line up Alisson, Trent, Matip, Fabinho, Robertson, Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, Thiago, and then I think it'll be the front three: Salah, Mane, Firmino. I don't think Origi will start. I think there's been talk that Origi might start, but then again, you just don't know. You just don't know with Origi at the moment. And Minamino hasn't been seen since the Crystal Palace game, and that's a weird one. How you can play against Crystal Palace and then not be used. I don't understand that one, to be honest with you. But no, it's going to be a really, really interesting game. I have to ask you for a score prediction. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go 1-1. I'm not going to go for a win either way. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go for a 1-1. I don't know. It's one of them. At the end of the day, Doug, West Ham could be playing as well as they want to be playing at the minute, but it's still Liverpool. It's still, and I'm one of those fans that, one of those fans of football, not just West Ham, but I'm one of those fans that looks at it on paper, and I look at that Liverpool team and I look at that West Ham team, and on paper, that Liverpool team still far outweighs the quality that West Ham have got, no matter how good we're playing. And it takes one moment of brilliance from a Salah or a Mane, it only takes one unbelievable free kick from Trent, to unlock the team. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go 1-1, mate.
Funnily enough, that was my prediction as well. 1-1.
Yeah.
I just think the way you guys are playing at the moment, and it's going to be a very, very tricky game, I mean, I know obviously the last 5 meetings, we have won the last 5, but you go into this game better on form for sure. So I am going to say a 1-1 draw. So yeah, guys, let us know what you think in the comments section. Let us know your starting 11s. Let us know your score prediction as well. It's a very tough one to call. Will the man of the moment, Soucek, score? Will Salah get firing? Let us know in the comment section, and I'm sure myself or Dan will be able to reply to your comment. But Dan, thank you very much for coming on and previewing the West Ham against Liverpool game, and I'm sure it'll be a very good game on Sunday. Where can we find you in your socials?
So you can find me on Twitter at DanXG. I do have a Discord as well. I would probably say go over to my YouTube channel, DanXG, and you'll find it all in the sort of about section or whatever. Just click on the links and you'll find them. They're all linked on my Twitter as well if anyone wants to come and follow me. Usually you'll find me on Twitter having a bit of banter with Doug, just talking football anyway. So yeah. Carry on the conversation over there.
Absolutely. That's the great thing. That's the great thing about social media is you can actually meet people who just become your friend. And you and I, we started talking many months ago, and we've just begun to be a really good sort of friendship. And I have to say, I know I keep saying this, but I cannot thank you enough for the amount of work you've done for me on my channel and my channel art as well, and just being there as a friend. So I really do appreciate it. So yeah, guys, please go and follow DanXG on Twitter. Go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. I will leave his socials in the description down below, and you can go over and have a wee look as well. But yeah, a big game on Sunday. West Ham against Liverpool. Really difficult game for sure for the Reds. It is 4:30 on Sunday. Will the Hammers come out on top, or will Liverpool get back to winning ways? We shall see what happens. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Fingers crossed for a good game on Sunday. See you later. Bye-bye.